Welcome back. We have looked at how to convert our data from Excel sheet, Excel format, spreadsheet format to CSV format. Now we are proceeding. We are going to be looking at how to import our data into our interface. So how do we go about this? Yes, the first thing you should do whenever you are dealing with R is to create a folder and put the data that you'll be analyzing into that folder. That we have done in our last video. So you can check the last video to refresh your mind on how to achieve that. So we are starting from where we stopped. So we have created a folder. The folder is IR_data. So that part is done. So the next thing we want to look at now is how do we perform the task on R Studio. So the first thing you are doing at that point is to open your R Studio. So you look for R Studio anywhere you have it installed on your system. Look for if it's on your desktop, you get the icon. If it's not, just go to your start button and search for R Studio. Search for R Studio. You can see here when you type R Studio. So you click on it. But if it's on your desktop, like mine, I have it on my desktop, I'll just double click on R Studio. It will take some time to open up. If your R Studio open correctly, this is what you are going to have. So I'm going to close everything I have on R Studio so that we can start from the same page. So this is what you are going to have when you open your R Studio for the very first time. So the first thing you want to do is to check where is your R Studio working from. Traditionally, when you install R on your system, it's going to create a folder for itself in your document, and that is where R will work from. But I advise that anytime you are doing a new analysis, open a folder on your desktop, put the data inside the folder, and redirect your arrow to the folder so that you have the arrow working from that folder at every point. So after the first analysis, if you have to do another analysis, you can create another folder and redirect R to that new folder you are creating. So it's always creating a new folder and working from the newly created folder for your analysis. So let's get along and perform this and conduct this analysis that we are here for. So the first thing you want to do is to change the location of R. Where is R working from? Maybe you should first check where it's working from. How do you get that done? Type get working directory, get WD. By the time you type W, you are going to get the suggestion on how to get that done. So you should just click on the suggestion. So this is the code to get the working directory when you click on it. So now after pressing enter, we can see that our R is working from our document. So we want to set the working directory to the folder we created on the desktop. How do we get that done? To do that, you click on section. From section here, these several options will come up, and on the options that you have up, locate set working directory. You can see that now. Click on working directory. When you click working directory, another interface will come up. On the new interface, select choose directory. When you click on choose directory, it will take you directly to document, because you have the folder, you have the R working directly from document. So you have to locate where you have the folder saved. My folder is on desktop, so on this other side of the system, I will locate desktop. After you click on desktop, it will show you all the folder that you have on your desktop. So the particular data I want to use, I have the data I want to analyze, is the IR_data. So I will click on it. After clicking on it, come to where you have folder down here and check if the data name, if the folder name is what you are seeing down here, just for you to be sure you are dealing with a folder. After checking and you are sure, you can then click open. After clicking on open, you can see the file, the folder the directory where R is working from has been redirected to the folder that we have just created. So the next thing you want to do at this point is to bring in your data sets, the data that you want to analyze. So how do you bring in the data? You can just come to this other side of the R Studio interface and ensure that ensure that environment is active. If it is not active, click on it. After you click on it, you should have import data set. So you click on import data set, and then you can then click from text base. There are several other options. You have from Excel, you have from SPSS, you have from SAS, you have from Stata. All of these other options, data cannot come in directly from this interface except you have installed another package. But this option of from text base will not require any packages. The traditional data, the traditional type of format, traditional format that R will recognize anytime, any day. So I recommend using this approach, and that was the reason why we look at conversion of our data file from Excel to CSV, a format that can easily be acceptable by clicking this from text base. So when you click on it, it will take you directly to the folder. So you can see that also inside your folder you have two data sets. One is Excel, the other one is the converted Excel format to the CSV format which you converted. So when you look at it closely, the difference, how do you know which one is CSV and which one is the Excel? You can see there is a small letter A here, and then you can see comma after the A. That is to tell you that that is comma delimited. And if you can't see that, another way to know is to just put your cursor on the data, and when you click on it, when you put it, it's going to show you, like it's showing now, that we are dealing that the data is comma separated values file. So we are sure now, so we can click on the data. After clicking on the data, make sure you also check if the name of your data file is what is the name you are seeing on the file name. After that checking and you are sure, you can then click open. So when you click open, the data is now telling you, the system is asking you, how does this your data look? The very first decision it's making on your behalf is that the data has no header, and that is why it introduced v1 v2 here. But our data has header, which is it1 it2 and all of that. So we'll change this no to yes by clicking on this yes button here. After clicking on the yes button, you see the v1 v2 have disappeared. We are good to go. Another thing you have to consider, which is very important, is the NA that you have in front of this NA.string. This is to indicate missing response. For objective test, for multiple choice tests, there are occasions when a student will not pick any response, and what you have there is empty. So you don't score that student 0. Instead, come to this place, and you, by the time you are coding the data in your Excel format, you may have represented the missing data with omit. So at this point, you then type in whatever you used to represent it. If I've used O to represent omit, I'll just type O here. After typing O here, I am good to go. So you come down here and hit the import button. After clicking on import button, our data is ready. So we can see our data now ready for analysis.